Dear Krista Lacey, your fire-breathing, thrill-giving, awesome and incredible books have hit the stores in the USA. I cannot wait for your new one, Dark Fire. The books Icefire, Firestar and The Fire Eternal have changed my perspective about dragons. They are fantastic books. They're not as good as Harry Potter, but they're not bad. Yours sincerely, a fan.
When I began the series about 8 years ago, a friend said to me, "You can't go wrong writing about dragons. Dragons are wired into the human consciousness." I've lost count of the number of times that children have asked me, "Do you really believe in dragons?" There's clearly something about these creatures that fires up our imaginations. So I've been trying to answer one basic question with the books, which is, if dragons were on the earth at one time, where's the proof of their existence? When a dragon dies, it cries a single tear. It's known as a fire tear, because contained within that tear is all the fire that was within the dragon. At the end of its life, a dragon's fire tear would fall off its snout and find its way through the cracks and crevices in the earth, back to the fire at the centre of the earth, from where dragons were first created. And when this happened, the dragon's body could simply dissolve away and become one with the earth again, and that's why no one has ever found the remains of one. And this is true for every single dragon that ever lived, except one. The last known dragon in the world. His name was Gawain. And when Gawain died, he cried his fire tear all right. But there was a woman standing beside him who wanted to preserve the spirit of dragons. And when Gawain cried his fire tear, she put out her hands and she caught his tear in the cup of her hands. Can you imagine what that must have felt like? Catching the power of a dragon in your hands. The stories basically revolve around two characters. A young mother called Elizabeth Pennycettle, who's a direct descendant of the woman who caught Gawain's fire tear, and a college student, David Rain, who comes to be Liz's lodger. Liz has a special ability in that she can make clay dragons, just like this one. And these dragons can come to life. At the end of the fourth book, The Fire Eternal, one of these dragons, an innocent and much-loved creature called Gwilyn, sheds his fire tear when he sees Liz attacked and apparently killed. But instead of Gwilyn's tear going back to the fire at the centre of the earth, it becomes trapped in a block of obsidian. And that's when the drama of Dark Fire truly begins. Gwilyn's fire tear has suffered an inversion. Zana stopped at the entrance to the hall. "What?" she said. "Obsidian has the power to draw negative energy. The greater the energy, the easier the transfer. The sight of Liz dying would create an aura shift in her dragons, particularly one as sensitive as Gwilyn. All the love and devotion he felt for Liz has been transformed into fear. His fire has turned from white to black. His tear is now dark. It's harmless if it stays within the obsidian." "And if it doesn't?" said Zana. David looked away. "It's the most destructive force in the universe," he said, "and I've been sent to retrieve it."
In any good story, there's always a core dilemma. David does manage to retrieve the Dark Fire, but if he destroys it, as he's supposed to do, he knows that Gwilyn will have to be sacrificed as well. So what will he do? Well, read the book and find out. I believe that Dark Fire is the best of the series so far. It brings the other four into perspective. It's gripping, it's powerful, and it really, really lives up to its title. But rather than accept that from me, why don't we hear, finally, from another fan? Dear Chris, thank you for coming to my school. I really enjoyed the stories about your life. I want to read Dark Fire. You have really inspired me.